There you go.
Fantastic work, guys. Well done. Welcome back to EGL10. My name is Tony. I'm here with Chewy. And, well, you see, we're talking about that Prophecy game just coming on the back of that there. We've got Curse taking the Insight next.
Yeah.
Two highly seeded teams. So, you know, it's going to be a good matchup. Curse, one of these teams that always come in, as we heard Black talking about, as a dark horse within the event. Insight, you know, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really know too much about them. They're one of these teams that have been seeded 7th, but let's see how they go on and do. I mean, for me, they're a bit of an unknown entity, personally. I mean, you might know a lot more about them.
Yeah, well, I've casted over these guys a few times over on the pre-EGL tournament. They actually finished second there. They did lose out to TCM, who obviously won it, but they did come second. Yeah, so there we go. You do know about that, Tony. Come on, that was our first cast.
It's because their gamer tags aren't in sight. It's Rico. That's why I just didn't. They were part of Rico.
Yeah, they were. So there we go, Tony. So, I mean, they are a strong squad. We did see them do well there. Unfortunately, they weren't able to take it over TCM because TCM are an incredibly strong squad all the way around. They are one of the favourites for this entire event. But I think they can stand up to Curse here. I don't think it's going to be a shutout. And, you know, we were just talking about it before we went live then. Every single match on main stage so far today, as far as I'm aware, has been a shutout.
Unless I've missed something, I think you're right. Yeah. I think as far as I am aware too, it has been 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0 all over the boards. So, I mean, it's something maybe they take into consideration that the higher seeds seem to be doing much better every single time they come, which is expected. But we do not often see 3-0, 3-0, 3-0. It is more often in the start of the tournament. Later on is where we see the 3-2s and the, of course, when you go into the bigger games where it's like 5-4 and stuff like that. So, I mean, but early on, we are seeing pretty much the standard pattern that usually happens. But we haven't seen any upsets. There's usually one, and it hasn't happened yet. So, could this be? Well, you know, you see, this game isn't really one of the ones where you know which way it's going to go. Because Curse may be seated underneath its site, but for me, Curse are a very experienced, very good team. I mean, they have Ryder in there instead of Toby, who couldn't come. And, of course, Toby and Mac have teamed together since before I was born. It's not true. And we have Ryder taking that position as well. So Ryder, I don't know if you know much about a player, but he's a very, very good player coming into this. So it's a decent enough pickup.
I mean, I'm not sure if that's going to play too much, like, you know, against them or something like that. As you say, Ryder being such a dominant player in the game. So I think it's only going to bolster them. If anything, they are going to miss out on Toby being here, unfortunately, for them. But, you know, on the Insight side as well, you've got to look at it now. I want to ask you about this because they've actually got Capo, the leader of Evil brand. He's coaching them right now. And I know he's been really, like, kind of strong to help them out. What do you feel about a coach in Call of Duty? How do you feel it's going to come into play here?
I think it's good to have somebody who's a good motivator. I think, you know, a lot of people give him shit, but Swizz he is that guy. For me, I think he really does help teams. And, you know, the teams, you know, sometimes they say, oh, yeah, the coach doesn't really G us up that much. You know, we'll get ourselves G'd up. He annoys the other team, though. Yeah. One thing, I remember speaking to Richie about this. You won't know him. He's one of the guys who used to play a long time ago. And something that he used to do to really get into the other team's heads was stare at that main player. I remember when Dope Goat was about, and Richie said when he was trying to coach, I think it was Imperial, he would just literally stare at Dope Goat like this throughout the game. So imagine you're trying to play COD and you got a small lad from Birmingham staring at you. It's a little bit strange, and something like, you know, you see coaches come with that sort of little tactic that can really help their team out. I mean, it puts people off. That's what they're there for. Well,
you can get them as that hype man, of course, as well. Really start to shout at the other team or get their team hyped up. But they also do a key role, you know, like they shout out the rotations. They, you know, they say to the anchor, you've got 20 seconds left. You see Mr. X, of course, with complexity, you know, big role in their team. And they said after Anaheim that he was probably one of the key things that actually helped them to win Anaheim. So I definitely think it's going to be something that could lead to an advantage for Insight. We'll see how it is. But I also want to ask, you know, you say you don't know much about Insight, but you know a bit about Curse. Who is going to be the man to watch from Curse?
From Curse, I think Wonder is one of these players that's a bit hit and miss for me. I think sometimes he can go in there and be one of the best objective players on the game. He runs the flag so well, and he comes in with brilliant kills. But, you know, he can be a little bit inconsistent. But I tell you what, we'll discuss this after this quick commercial break that we're going to be going to here live from EGL10.